Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, spiritual life coach. Thank you for tuning into Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. So this week, I'm following on from last week's topic, and last week's topic was stillness. Stillness creates the perfect space for this week's topic, which is contemplation. From Thubten Yeshe, it is very important that you become your own psychologist. Then you can treat yourself through the understanding and wisdom of your own mind. You'll be able to relax. And if you haven't already, please do consider joining the mailing list. With that, you'll receive an email on Monday, the Monday following the release of each episode, which will include additional meditation, journaling, and inspiration notes, and also links to additional resources and announcements of exclusives as and when they come. So use the link in the show notes to join the mailing list, and you'll also receive the free Embody Her course, which runs daily for 6 days. When we pause to contemplate, all of our problems are simply our privileges in disguise. From Dr. Salma Farouk, What Your Soul Already Knows. So contemplation. Contemplation is such a rich topic for people who are on a spiritual and personal development journey. Contemplation is perhaps, I would say, the cornerstone of everything that brings us to this place. Contemplation is the birthing of curiosity or the response to curiosity. I can never quite work out which one you would say comes first. If you think about it, if we're contemplating our life, if we're contemplating the things that we see around us, if we're wondering why things are happening the way that they are, whether we want them to be that way or we want them to be different, that then opens up an idea for us to consider that there's something else. So then we go into contemplation of what that might be, or we then find something new and then contemplate that. So contemplation for me is examining things from all possible perspectives. It's also allowing myself to be on the other side of an issue. Oftentimes, if I talk personally, oftentimes when I'm dealing with a situation, it's very easy to kind of feel that things are happening to me, and they may or may not be in the way that I would prefer them to be. But then also, if I contemplate the opposite side, if I contemplate another person's point of view, if I contemplate how things could be different if I change my mind about what it meant to me, that could then open up a world of possibility and ultimately free me from a lot of torment, mental torment, spiritual torment, energetic torment and pain. Here are some points that we can really think about contemplation. And the understanding of contemplation is that I feel that it's different from meditation or other mindfulness practices in that it involves the deepest of thoughts, the deepest of introspection, and also it becomes very deliberate. If I think about my own, when I go into contemplation, it is a deliberate focus for a period of time, delving into what something means, immersing myself in all of what it expresses to me, be that joy, be that pain, be that complete confusion or disillusionment about a situation, is just to be in it and allow it to just permeate every aspect of how I would ever receive any kind of information. So on all senses, as well as spiritual and energetic kind of senses, like exactly what is this? What does this feel like? A visual just came to my mind of always just like stepping into a river and just keep walking step by step as you get into it deeper and deeper, and feeling all of that water, the cool water seeping around you, feeling what it feels like to be completely enveloped in that environment. And to use an example, and to use a recent example, is that recently when I was dealing with a real disappointment of a situation, and I may have mentioned this in a previous episode, it is a recent experience, so that's the one that's easiest for me to recall, is to understand why I felt hard done by somebody. When I allowed myself to really sit and really contemplate, why am I feeling so hard done by by this person, I had to come to the conclusion that ultimately I had allowed it to happen, because there was a pattern of behavior that had shown no sign of shifting anytime soon or ever. And yet I wanted to give this person the benefit of the doubt. They had expressed that they needed my assistance with something. But even then, when I was going in there, it was like I had to ask myself, what is it? Why am I going into this situation knowing this person's pattern of behavior, knowing that ultimately I'm going to feel really dissatisfied by this? Why do I feel that this is going to be different? And so the contemplation then came away from it being that person's fault, because they were just being who they were, their characteristics had never changed. And the contemplation and what I had to come to terms with was why I felt that I deserved to go through a situation again that I knew that ultimately was not going to satisfy me, and see what I thought that I was going to gain from it. Where was this coming from? Was it a place of ego? Did I feel that I wanted to put myself through again? Did I want to be seen as the good person, when ultimately being seen as the good person in somebody else's eyes actually meant that I disregarded my own intuition, my own knowing, and my own self-worth in that instance? And, true to form, exactly what I thought happened, and here we are. But it gave me a last cold, hard lesson, a sense of something, knowing that I had a sense of something, and I didn't follow through on that. And it was the contemplation of that was why would I continue to override my knowing? Where does that come from? The benefits of going into contemplation is, one, because it helps with our own personal and spiritual development. And things that you get from contemplation, if I go back to that recent example, is just increased self-awareness, because like I said, I could have allowed that situation to just be all about me, poor me, look at what that person's done to me, which was true. However, I knew prior to that something was up. So the developing of the self-awareness around that was why did I walk into that situation again? What was it in me that I was not honoring, that I felt that that I should go through this one more time? Because believe me, that is one more. What was it about me? The self-awareness was, what was it about me that decided that I should go back into it? Are there feelings of guilt? Is it low self-worth? What am I trying to prove? And it was just a radical honesty. I think we spoke about that a few weeks ago. To be true to myself as to who benefits from situations like that. Nobody, ultimately, because there is someone who has done something there that, like I said, their pattern of behavior hasn't changed, and I know they have a conscious, so they're aware of what they've done. But for me, it was to look at why I allowed it, and in that contemplation, then it's improving my decision making in the future. I'm like, I can't waste time doing this again. I need to be clear about the skills and the ability and the awarenesses that I have, so that when I am around a situation and all of my spidey senses open up and go no, that I just realize it's a flat no and move away and move to something that is actually going to be way more beneficial for everybody involved. Another benefit of contemplation is to help you just reduce stress. Sometimes we walk into situations and everything's all, we're not really thinking, and we just go into high alert. But contemplate the situation, contemplate your behavior, contemplate what the reality is of what's going to happen. Is there danger? Are there things to be aware of? Or are you just presuming the worst simply because you're walking into the unknown? And this then allows you to start to regulate your emotions, so that you know how to balance yourself and know that this is a good situation for me. This is where I need to be a little bit more cautious. And the more that you're able to do that and find that sense of self as a result of your contemplation, means that you're building that deeper connection with your inner self and that trust and respect for your inner self. And the more that you continue to do that, the deeper that knowing and that trust will be, and you become unshakable going forward. So practices for contemplation. What things can you do to incorporate this into your daily life? My favourite of always is always journaling. It can be a very directed one where at the top of the page you write the subject, you write the topic, you write the question of what you're thinking about, and then just allow yourself to answer the question on the page. And you can do it in a real stream of consciousness where you're just allowing the words and the answers to come through in kind of broken English words, symbols, whatever it is, and see where you get to when you've exhausted every thought, every insight that comes through you. You can take guided contemplation exercises where you have a narration that is directing you on ways to contemplate, ways to actually consider what it is that's coming to you, and really deeply be in what you're seeing. You can just take time in silent reflection. Sometimes contemplation is not thinking about the thing, moving yourself out of that stress and that anxiety. Contemplation is contemplating what it is without, as well as contemplating something and going within it. Again, also walking, just taking a walk and not thinking about anything, just being in a very observant state, just looking and noticing things around you and not even thinking about what you're thinking about, just allowing your body to move, to feel the environment, the wind, the rain, the sun, the snow, whatever your environment is giving you on that given day, just being in that state, allowing yourself to feel that. And let contemplation be moments of your day. Let contemplation seep into moments of your day. So it doesn't have to be a prescribed moment in the morning. It can be something happens and you just need to kind of walk away and walk away from it, or walk away with it, and allow it to be with you, or allow it to stay behind you as you get to, again, regulate yourself, find your balance, re-find your balance. And what kind of things would we contemplate? Well, how long is a piece of string? When you're contemplating, you can think about topics, considering your life. This is something that I'm contemplating so much as I'm, cat's out the bag, writing a book at the moment. So I'm really going into all different aspects, all different things that have happened over the course of my life, and not just looking at them as isolated incidents or incidents that may have created some shock or trauma or joy or whatever at the time, but contemplating then also how that fits into the course of my life, a step along the journey to where I am now and doing what I am doing today. Because each of the moments that I think about, especially when I'm really just staying on that moment and writing about it and trying to bring that picture back to mind and contemplating how I felt at that moment, and also contemplating what it looks like from this point of view, looking back in the past, being able to see why I may have been or why I may have experienced a certain thing because of where I was as a person, like personally, what I've learnt, who I've met, what I've been through, and just my general maturity and a more relaxed and open attitude to life. How that's different, but how in the same way that looking at all of these moments in my life has actually given me a sense of gratitude for all of those achievements. So many times things can feel very heavy in the moment, but then years later, when you contemplate it, you see how what you went through actually brought forward a part of yourself that experience, without that experience, you wouldn't be that person. Other things that you can contemplate are, who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want to be in the world? What is your level of, what is your barrier to entry? What is your boundary? I think this is one of the most important things that any of us can consider, is like, where is the line? Where do I draw the line on the things that I tolerate? Where do I draw the line on the things that I expect in my life, or the way that I give out to others in my life as well? And talking about the example that I brought into this episode, that has been a real lesson for me recently, is to re-evaluate my values and my boundaries, and also to deal with any unresolved issues. Again, contemplation is perfect for doing that. And then also, as you're looking as you are on your self-development, personal development, spiritual path, you can contemplate all of the things that come up as you're making that journey, noticing the way that you change, acknowledging the way that you change, feeling that new sense of yourself, and contemplating what you're going to do with this enhanced version of yourself. Contemplation has so many uses. It's very powerful. In looking into all of these things, we're just going to get deeper insight, more clarity. And the more that we're able to move forward with clarity and with the addition of our knowing and our insight, it's just creating such a force of strength and power and purpose around us. And as beautiful as contemplation is, there comes a point where contemplation needs to be put to the side, and all that we've gained from our contemplation needs to then become action. Action, again, is a powerful tool for our knowing, for our personal growth. And the more that we take on board what we've learnt through our contemplation and then put into action, it can shift our life in so many different directions. So what we want to be doing is what we learn in contemplation can then be shifted into real world physical action to really bring through exactly who we are from that contemplative point into a focused and purposeful person walking in this world. And to close from Lao Tzu, muddy water, let's stand, becomes clear. Thank you for being with me on another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. And if you're receiving value from this series, really share with me your breakthroughs or your struggles, or if you've got any questions to ask, do reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram, it's Casmic, C-A-Z-M-I-C-K, Carol May Whittick on Facebook, and my website is carolmaywhittick.com, carolmaywhittick.com. And as well, I encourage you to join the mailing list so that you can receive additional learning points for your meditation, your journaling, your contemplation as you're doing your self-work. And again, you'll be receiving the Embody Her 6-day course as a gift. Also then, if you're ready to take the next step in your transformation with support and accountability, radical honesty from me, if you're ready to live your life on purpose, contact me, talk to me about my personalized one-to-one spiritual life coaching program and find out how it can make the big shift in your life so that moving forward from now on and into 2024, yeah, we're nearly there, can be you living your best life, which is your birthright. So thanks again for being with me on another episode. Until the next one, take care.